Well, hello, good morning to you all. So, I kinda decided to make a prediction slash discussion video about the Bleach 537 that will come out next week. And eventually, if this gets some success, I guess that from now on, every time I made a prediction or preview, I will put it also in a discussion topic, but it will also be depending on how the story is. So, uh, if eventually you end up watching this video and if you agree with some ideas, I will be in a few minutes put in the video and want to take part on a little discussion about Bleach, please feel free to do it on the comments below. So, essentially, I remember saying on my review video that I think that I don't know if if Kubo will go entering in another long flashback about Masaki's death. My personal betting is that eventually he will spend eventually two chapters, one completely about it and maybe a second one divided in two. The first part eventually will be about the finish of the story about Masaki, and eventually the second part will be in the present time with the reaction of Yoshivo to all the story and so on. So these are my bettings for next week and for the week after. So, as of the last chapter, we left with a huge cliffhanger about what is the reason, what is the cause of Masaki's death. And I watched a video, several videos, but the most recent I watched was of King of Lightning. Hope you are fine. And he kind of elaborated in some way in a theme that other reviewers and other videos that I have already watched also referred it, that there is something off with the time frame about Masaki's death, because at the start of the manga, when Ishigo and his sisters and his father go visiting Masaki's grave, and when they fight, or Ishigo fights Ground Fisher for the first time, I think that Ishin says that Masaki dies 10 years ago, and then Ishigo goes saying that she dies actually 6 years ago. So, and then in this last chapter, Ishino again says that that he will tell Ishigo about Masaki's death 9 years ago. So there is something off with the time frame. I don't know if Kubo simply forgot what that he is done on the start of Bleach, or if this is objectively his goal. Uh, and this kind of be explained by, I'm guessing, two situations for this discrepancy in the time frame. It could be that the memories are so traumatic that kinda Ishigo wiped them out of his memory, or his memories were altered in some way, and we actually know that Soul Society has the technology to change memories. I don't know if other groups have it. Eventually, Aizen's group, if Aizen's group is behind Masaki's death, uh, since they are Shinigami, they will also have access to that technology. Or if eventually is it was the Quincy's or the group of Shuabach that is behind it, um, I guess they eventually would have also some similar technology. Also, there was one thing that King of Lightning say on his video, and it's about one thing that Ryuken says on the last chapter when he is talking with Katagiri, and he pointed that out, and eventually this could mean something or not. But Ryuken goes saying to Katagiri that he is unfit to lead the Quincy's. So, could this mean that the Ishida family are, besides being one of the noble houses eventually of the Quincy race, uh, could they also be one of the ruling houses? Because I don't know. Jua is the emperor of Vandenreich, and Vandenreich is a group of Quincy's. Um, and it's also implied when Ishigo was fighting Kirige in Wikomundo that the Quincy's of the Vanderreich kinda despise the traditional ways of the Quincy's. And Kirige also says that Soken, the grandfather of Uriel and father of Ryuken, kinda dwell in extinct or old techniques that the Van der Reich simply developed and improved and so on. So, could this mean that there is a division between Quincy factions? Because it is also implied when we knew Uriel for the first time and later on when he is fighting on Soul Society that his grandfather kinda tried several times to have an agreement with Soul Society and kinda wanted peace and wanted that the Quincy's and the Shinigami work together. So could this mean that there are actually two factions of Quincy's, one led by Jua that apparently most likely is the ancestor or the original ruler of the Quincy's, and it's a faction that is on the war against Soul Society for all eternity. And could be there are also other Quincy's that kinda like Soken desire to coexist with Soul Society in peace. So this is an interesting point, and I actually want to hear your opinions on this subject. The second point will be the causes for Masaki death. Uh, I think that by now and after all the character build up that Kubo did on Masaki, he showed us that Masaki was quite powerful. Besides being a pure blood Quincy, she is quite powerful. He does not reveal a lot of techniques, but I'm guessing that Masaki could use most of the techniques that for instance, Yuryu can uses and eventually others that Uryu is not unable to use it because he is not a pure blood Quincy. Because, like I say on my last videos, I'm guessing Katagiri is Uryu mother and Katagiri is not a pure blood Quincy. So even if his father Ryuken is one, his mother most likely is not. So this kinda, I guess, could implies that even if Uryu intended or desired to use high level Quincy abilities, probably he is not unable to do it because of his own legacy or heritage. So, and then we go. And also, I want to hear your opinion on this second part. Then, the third part, before I lose myself again, is about Masaki death. So, for now, I guess there is some kind of consensus that since the character build-up of Masaki, it's quite strange how Groundfisher finished her off. And either he finished her off because she did lose his powers, or if someone also, like Aizen did with Ishin and slash him from behind, could that same thing happen to Masaki? Could that mean that Aizen is also behind it, either wounding or sealing in some way Masaki's powers, or in some way helping Ground Fisher to kill her off? But that will be kinda strange because since Eisen was quite interested in see the result of his experiment on a Quincy or in a holofied Quincy, um, his scientist mind, I found it hard that he desired to destroy his experiments. So it's not impossible, obviously, but I kind of find it hard that he actually could be the one behind killing of Masaki. Eventually, maybe he could have lent a hand on Ground Fisher eventually, but I don't know. What do you think about this first option? And then we have a second option, and that instead of Eisen and his group, it could be the Van der Reich that is behind it. Why? Well, I don't know, and Kubo indeed needs to have, even if he does a second flashback, even in the point of view of Ryugen, that will be interesting because we actually need some more in depth about the Quincy organization, the Quincy structure, and how Quincy society works. Because we actually know very little about it, and since the Vandenreich or the Quincy's in this arc are one of the great factions of Bleach, I guess Kubo seriously needs to develop or elaborate on this a little more. So, well, and if the Van der Reich, for instance, is behind Masaki's death, what will be their goal? Did they try to recruit her to join the Van der Reich and she refuses? Well, it's not impossible that they did use Ground Fisher because at the start of the arc we already knew two examples of Olos there that were Quincyfied. If you remember, Luderns and Ivan were Olos that have Quincy powers and Quincy abilities. So the Quincy's also have a technology to Quincyfy Olos. This uh, could imply that they could do it with some kind of other technology. So did they try to recruit Masaki because she possesses hollow power inside her, and maybe eventually they wanted to use her as experiment, and she fight back, and eventually they killed her off because she could be a menace to their plans in the future, or if they actually reveal something to her, and then since she refused to join, then they feel they don't have other chance uh, unless they kill her. The third option, could it mean that means Ishigo in his younger age kinda lose his control of his hollow power in some way, and he was the one that killed off his mother but does not have a memory of it? It's a third option. So these are my three options, or even we can have another fourth option. Could this could also means that Mazaki, for some unknown reason, kinda lose control of his whole side, and she was killed by Soul Society. Uh, so these are my four ideas on the issue. So I want to hear you out, and if you are watching this video, please, if you have any ideas or if you want to comment any of my ideas, please feel free to do it on the comments below. So that's all for my kind of prediction slash discussion on Bleach 537 that will come out next week. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay well. Peace.